Hello everyone and welcome back once again to a Legionary's Life. If you've followed my previous episode, then you know that I'm currently at the end of the Second Punic War, so I'm in the last couple of battles before the new content for this game. So I'll be playing through this last part quickly for a bit. I was a bit worried that I would not be able to save after this, so I decided to just stop there and continue along this side, but to continue this way for the last part. But I do think this is the last part of the battle. I want to, however, go and make a quick check because currently there we are. I think this should be fine. So I did not hear a whole lot of sound, but I'll see if it's really hard in battle, then I will definitely change it. Just gonna go over this stuff here quickly. I can't skip it. Yeah, let's dash into the fight. Alright. So we have pretty decent chance, at least against this guy, to get through with head damage. At least. So, yeah, my plans for the upcoming campaign. Well, it seems like this guy also has pretty tough stuff for the groin, but I can go for the head or the neck. Yeah, this is actually indeed a bit loud. There you are. So, yeah, my plans for the upcoming campaign. Well, I'm actually looking to play it a little bit safe probably in the new campaign. Not gonna go all out, very likely. We'll see. It takes pretty long to get all the way up to the Macedonian War, since you have to play through all of this content. And after playing this already a couple of times, because yeah, I have already played this a few times, I don't really enjoy going through the same content that much anymore, which is, you know, natural. But yeah, that's why, in order to show off most of the content, at least I hope, and also show off the end of the game, I do hope to get through that relatively safely and at least plan accordingly. Now, this should not be that difficult as long as you do get your rolls in. The RNG can be as tough as ever, which is not a surprise. Now he's almost dead. I can probably finish him off at the leg. Yeah, so the battle wasn't over. Yeah, I don't remember everything around here anymore. Okay, so probably a charge should do quite well. Already get some low, and then I can finish it off with something like this, and now I should have pretty good odds on this guy everywhere. So my new LP, or at least my progress so far in this new campaign, is pretty similar to my progress in the last videos when I actually did retire. So I was able to get both of the civic crowns, and I was able to capture the mural crown, and yeah, that's basically where I'm at now. So at the end of the game here, I might actually even skip through this. I will actually showcase this off at a faster speed, potentially. I'll think about it. Since this does take still pretty long, and there's not that much going on. These guys, by this part of the game, are actually pretty easy. it does give me the chance to talk about some of the new content, because during the actual leveling part of the game, so when you are in camp, it seems like the designer actually switched things up a little bit. So no longer is it the case that you just go and do 3 activities, at least that's the way I used to do it. Do 3 activities that would level up your character, and then in between do a resting activity once in order to make sure that you would not gain any morale from overtraining. And it seems like they overhauled this system where you now have a bar which indicates how much you're overtraining, which causes stress, and it seems that this stress accumulates much faster than it used to. So you are unable to train as much as you used to do, because I guess they did it because the game is now longer, but yeah, this means that naturally you're going to be somewhat weaker actually through the middle of the campaign. So you might find that with the introduction of the new campaign, you are able to do somewhat less, or things are a little bit tougher than they used to, at the very least in the mid game, than they used to be before. And that might actually be challenging, because some of those things, like getting the mural crown, might actually be a lot more difficult than they used to be, even though they were already hard before that, and often dependent on a single stat check. So that might be something that you might have noticed. At least that seemed to have been the case for me. So you want to pay some special attention to that. And actually, before the game that I put online, I actually also did another run in which I actually died quite quickly, which I didn't put on screen, so I didn't show that off. But I died very quickly in that campaign due to some heavy hits at the start. Wow, really? And that also really showed off how different things were. So I really underestimated how, not under-leveled per se, but yeah, how much weaker you are. And I got my ass kicked by the enemy and died very early in the campaign. So I didn't show that off because that would be rather useless. So I started up a new play, and that's where we are at. So that's the previous video, episode 11.5. I'm not going to be able to beat this guy, and we have multiple rounds, so I'm probably better off just doing respite here. He's not going to damage me anyhow. No, I do not want to fall back, because yeah, the only thing in this LP is that I'm actually, for some reason, they did not allow me to get to a higher position, which makes me still think that whether you get a certain position or not is actually random, because my progress is pretty much the same, or was pretty much the same as it was before. Maybe I killed 1 or 2 guys less, but on average I did get both of the civic crowns, for example, and I did make all my other advances in position. But for the last one, for some reason, they just, even though it was I would get it at the same time as I used to before, they suddenly told me that there was no position available. So I don't know what factors into being able to get that better position, but it seems like there are some roles involved, and you might not always be able to get it at certain times. even though you have the same progress, or nearly the same progress. But I might be wrong here, but it just seems like that. And yeah, just as before, I still have this sensation that this is not actually, say, a 55% chance. It still could be, but I don't know. I just feel like the actual chances are a bit lower, but well, maybe that's just my my personal bias, which it very well could be, but it is at least my gut feeling. At least it feels like it's not actually 50% when the thumb is horizontal. So that did not change, but it might not have been a problem either in actuality. Yeah, either way, so I am not actually of the highest rank. I'm of the pre-highest rank. I do expect to get to the highest rank after this campaign. So Centurio Prior is what I should be after this campaign is done, I think. Wow, that's terrible odds, but I'm gonna keep on using Respite until he does something like that, and now I'm gonna try that shield charge. I'm way too tired to try and perform or to do anything else. Now, I have to say that this is indeed already, you know, he's been able to resist that quite often, so yeah, well, that, oh, he did hit, okay. Alright, now I have a relatively decent chance at finishing him off. I will quickly go over my achievements as well once I have the opportunity, which obviously I don't. I'm never going to be able to kill this guy, so I'm just going to do some respite. Unless this first charge hits. And no. Alright, let's just back off. Recover for a bit, it's not too bad. Alright, so we have one more round against the Carthaginians. Hannibal's veteran. And this should be the last round, I think, even. Because I do remember that if you're able to execute the difficult maneuver in this part, you should, instead of fighting only Hannibal's veterans, be able to also fight some Bruttian warriors. So your battles are actually slightly easier at that point. Oh, you can resist a lot. He's gonna attack now. I should have actually moved to the back. I'm often making mistakes based on playing too quickly because I've went through so many battles where I kind of know what to do or what my main strategy is, but then in such a case the execution is lacking because I failed to take something into consideration, or in this case, yeah, I'm just going through it very quickly because I've done this already too many times. And obviously these battles are still just a gamble, like your outcome might vary exceptionally much based on the rolls. Wasn't able to do anything to that veteran. But that first campaign is over, so we can skip through this really quickly. Yes, we won. And yeah, it's over. Bloodiest conflict. This increases. Great, and we get a silver armilla. Here we are. So we've been promoted to Centurio Prior for now, so that's great. Your victorious army leaves Africa and lands at Lilybaeum. From there, you set sail once more. Your destination is Astia, Rome's seaport. And yes, I am playing the new DLC blind, so I have not yet, or it's not DLC, but I haven't played the new content yet. And I haven't seen it either, so it's completely blind for me as well. What is waiting for you and your comrades in Rome is even beyond your expectations. The triumphal procession is the most imposing the city has ever seen. Scipio, whom they start calling Africanus from the land he conquered, parades in front of you, his army on a chariot pulled by 4 white horses. Today the survivors of Cannae are the most deeply affected. They had their revenge at last, and no one will ever dare to question their honor again. But their long exile stole many years from their lives. This is something nobody will be able to give back. Meanwhile, another war is looming in the east. Emissaries from Pergamon, Rhodes, and even Athens came seeking the help of Rome against the expansion of King Philip V, ruler of Macedonia, one of the powerful kingdoms carved from Alexander's immense empire. Many see this new war as an opportunity too good to miss. The Republic may be tired after the long conflict with Carthage, but the army has been forged into a formidable weapon of conquest. It is way too tempting a tool in the hands of people in search of personal glory and richness. Publius Sulpicius Galba, elected as one of the 2 consuls for this year, is assigned to deal with the crisis in Macedonia. He is allowed to add precious veterans from Africa like yourself to his army, but only on a voluntary basis. You promised a quick campaign in a rich land with plenty of loot to settle down and allow your family to live a comfortable life. I've had enough. You embark under command of Consul Galba at the naval base of Brundisium to cross the Adriatic, one of the many portions of the Great Sea. When you land at Apollonia, you learn that Philip is conducting a campaign in the Dardanelles, while another of his armies is besieging Athens. Your opinion council has increased by 2. The Macedonian king grows emboldened by his successes in the east. A diplomatic mission fails, but it is widely believed that neither leader really wants peace at this point. The council sends a small fleet to help the Athenians, while you remain with the bulk of the army to prepare for the war on the mainland. Okay, so we're here in the first screen, so let's quickly go over my character. 64 strength, endurance 74, constitution 70, quickness is 74, but I'm wearing greaves. Coordination 63, charisma 75, awareness 75, intellect 74. Yeah, so I was able to get a lot of stats pumped into this, mostly quickness and awareness, charisma and intellect, so these are the most important, and then quickness for all the events. Have been raising up my skills, so sword, shield, and javelin. At least these are close to 80. It's very hard to increase javelin now because the game has a much lower chance to increase that if I go for that skill. Yes, I'm Centuria Prior, in charge of both the right-hand sentry and the whole maniple. Then on my inventory, I don't have the best equipment. I have, let's just say, level 4 greaves. Weapon with crafting quality 5, material 4, so definitely not the best weapon. You could do a lot better. Short chainmail, again not the most expensive one, and then just a pretty basic Celtic helmet actually. I do have plenty of cash. Yeah, I have quite high opinion for tribunes, I guess, which is just taken over from Centurion, and then the consul. Yeah, so as for deeds, got 2 civic crowns, Muro crown, gold armilla, silver armilla, 4 bronze, 14 cups. Defeated 5 militiamen, 6 castratus, 1 scutarius, 1 inexperienced one, a Numidian cavalryman, 5 expert militiamen, 4 Libyan light infantrymen, light infantry leader, Libyan spearman, Himilco is dead, Carthaginian officer, 5 veterans, a chieftain Scutarius, 5 veteran Scutarius, 5 levy soldiers, 3 Bruttian warriors, and a bunch of shared guys, and a couple of wounded ones. So yeah, that's where we're at. You'll see that new bar soon enough. Let's check the shop though. Maybe there'll be some new equipment. Feather of your life is spun. You have to appoint a new Tesserarius. There are 3 options. Lucius Didius is both capable and reliable, probably the most suitable man for the position. Aulus Scoponius is the most liked by the troop. He would be a popular choice, but a good Tesserarius has little to do with popularity. Quintus Sempronius has loose family ties with one of the tribunes. Let's choose the first guy. Not the most popular choice, but the best choice for the maniple. This young man could make an excellent centurion someday. if he manages to stay alive long enough. Your virtue is increased by 5. As you might have noticed, I am trying to get high virtue, so I'm making choices that will affect that as well. This is some new equipment, haven't seen these before. Phrygian Bearded Helmet and Attic Helmet. They are pretty cheap, but I could compare this Chainmail, which seems to give more protection to the groin and some to the leg, with the same damage protection and anti-armor resistance. So that is pretty nice. I am going to buy that. Yes. And sell that there Chainmail. There we are. Let's do another quick search, because there might be some pretty reasonable stuff. We don't have that much time, it seems like, in this first part. Your soldiers see you as reliable, just leader, blah blah blah. We've seen those often enough already, so I'm not too interested in that. But I'm interested in spending some coin, but it does not seem like there's that much. Usually it's all about the chainmails, which are most expensive. So let's just do a bit of trading here. Maybe we can get those a little bit up. Yeah, here you can see already, after 3 times you get over exercise stress. And as long as that is green, that's all fine. But the moment this starts getting orange, you already start losing morale. The winter is especially harsh. Without proper equipment, you'll have a hard time dealing with it. Let's buy some gear. Yeah, we've seen this event already earlier. So now that we have some over exercise stress, every time my morale is going to drop by 1. There are Thracian auxiliaries in Philip's army, but the party in front of you is not exactly ordinary. The heavily armored warrior who leads the group is huge. A 7.5 feet monster towering above his compatriots. You have heard of him. They call him the Bulwark. Truth be told, before seeing him with your own eyes, you didn't even believe that a human being that big could exist. 7.5 feet. Wow. Brandishing an outlandish iron-headed mace with alarming skill. That thing must be heavy, but he makes it look like a stick. He keeps shouting something to your party that bears all the hallmarks of a challenge. He moves with surprising dexterity for his bulk. Intelligence check. There in the open, his mace would give him a further advantage over your sword. You know, I would like to do this, but say that I die here. Then basically I just played 3 hours for nothing. No freaking way. Gaius Curtius Rufus is stepping forth to accept the challenge. He is one of the most experienced legionaries in your group, but you doubt he would stand a chance. Let's make him step back in the ranks. Charisma check. At your command, Rufus sheepishly backs off. The Colossus laughs when nobody else answers his provocation. You slowly retreat, keeping a tight formation. The Thracians don't seem interested in giving chase. If nothing else, nobody is crazy enough to blame you because you refuse to face the Bulwark. Being a good centurion has nothing to do with throwing away your life meaninglessly. Yeah, I think that's also true. Why would you spend, whatever, 25, 30 years or even more of your life and throw that away in such a stupid challenge? Not only for you, but what if the Bulwark dies as well? You know, why would you waste your life meaninglessly? I mean, I would do it for getting an achievement on Steam, but, you know, that it's only in the game. But for them, it's real, technically. Alright, so let's do a couple of workouts here as well. Now, because of this, yeah, you can already see it's morale -2. You kind of have to think about how many workouts you're going to do a little bit more, because it's going to cost you more morale than before. And so you kind of have to work out how you are going to... you know, get your morale back up, actually. So I'm not going to go over these events that I've already done before. It's completely uninteresting whether I'm able to fish accurately or not. And I've shown that stuff off already plenty of times, so... I wonder if there's some new events here as well. There probably are, but I'm still not gonna get ambushed on purpose. Okay, this might be new. You come across some of the not so well hidden valuables while supervising the load of supplies from inside one of the cellars. You were sent here to find supplies, not to sack the place. Resist the temptation. You won't take their most precious belongings from their farmers. I would have found enough anyway, so it does not really matter. If I desperately needed those supplies, maybe I would have done so, but they might have also attacked me, and that might have made it less worthwhile. Alright, sure. Right. My morale is still good, so let's not worry about it. After crossing the lands of the Dasarete, your army has reached the Macedonian border. Before winter, Philip laid waste to the area surrounding Athens, but now you are the biggest threat to his fighting force, and you know he has diverted his efforts to stop you. For some time, both armies ignore each other's position. When the Macedonians ultimately made contact, they set camp a mere 1,000 paces from yours. Led personally by their king, they are about as numerous as you, perhaps above 20,000. After 2 uneventful days, the council leads you out to offer battle. For the first time ever, your army is fielding war elephants. You have not decided yet if you trust the beasts. They can be devastating at times, and horses are afraid of them, but they are known to turn against their own army when they panic. That is not a thought you should dwell on at this time. You may no longer be the young boy who 10 years ago looked at the walls of New Carthage with apprehension, but the thought of facing the legendary Macedonian phalanx doesn't make you feel at ease. However, it soon becomes apparent that you won't be fighting alone today. Philip is blatantly refusing battle and sends forth a small host of cavalry and light infantry. Galba answers with a similarly composed force, but the ensuing skirmish comes to nothing. 2 days later, another skirmish leaves no mark. When the council leads you out on the morrow, Philip declines once again. Time is passing and everyone is aware that the Macedonian supply line is much shorter than yours. Galba can't send you to forage with the enemy so close by. It doesn't come as a surprise when he gives order to move your camp several miles away, near a place they call Otolobus. Okay, that's fine. From the safety of your new camp, forage parties are sent further and further away to harvest wheat from the surrounding fields. It looked like a fine day when you set off to a distant area. Everything seems to go smoothly as you spend the hours harvesting the precious crop. It comes as a shock when one of the soldiers raises a cry of alarm. A large cavalry squadron is approaching and they are not friends. It won't take too long before they get here. You're in charge and must think quickly. You might seek refuge in a small forest to the northwest. If you're not too slow, you should be able to reach it in time before you're swept up. Or you might convince your men to suppress panic, close ranks, and move orderly towards the trees, trying to keep the enemy at bay. Give order to close ranks. Charisma pass. The horsemen were counting on you to break and disperse, but your men's discipline and training has prevailed. The charge is called off before the impact, but they keep harassing you as they can, while the solid square you have formed slowly moves towards the safety of the forest. Experience sharpens your mind, intellect increase. Defense check, you easily ward off the occasional spear thrust. At last you reach the forest. You press on through the trees where the cavalry won't dare follow. There's also new music. You keep moving for about half an hour. You're still safe from the cavalry, but there might be other dangers lurking in a place like this. You hear noises of battle coming from not far away. All eyes turn to you. This might lead to another ambush, one you may not be able to escape. On the other hand, someone may be in need of help. Let's get ready for battle and follow the noises. There is a glade in front of you. A bunch of legionaries are trying to fight off a much larger party of Thracian auxiliaries. You are seen almost immediately and have to defend yourself. Your virtue is increased by 5. You have enough men to turn the tide of this clash. Okay. Don't know what that means, but this is just an auxiliary, so it seems like this might go well, depending on how things go here. I mean, I might be able to kill a few of these guys. That would be nice. Just trying to get him all the way down. So with this thing, neck attack doesn't seem like that good of a choice because we have to break through the armor. But going for the groin is not bad either. And we can still finish him off fast enough. Got lucky there on the triple attack. There we go. There we go. Alright, first one down. Sure we'll get another one. Let's try another shield knock. Alright, and with that, we have him down. And this guy, yeah, I'm still gonna go for the groin here. And with that amount of stance, I could keep attacking. Killing a second one. Nice. Alright. Ooh, that's pretty decent actually. That's quite a lot of stuff. The remaining Thracians make their escape. Rather than face the risk of another surprise, you decide to put as much distance as possible between you and them. The soldiers you have rescued are eager to join your party. Your opinion troop has increased by 2. Alright, that's very nice. I unfortunately have been playing for half an hour already, and that means that my time is up for this time. I understand that there was a significant portion of the previous DLC yet, but I'm also talking about the new campaign a bit and such, so I'm just going to leave that in there and continue for the next time, where of course there'll be only Macedonian campaign. Thanks for watching this time, so you can consider this to be a little bit of a teaser, or at least the start. I don't know how long the Macedonian campaign lasts. Well, maybe as long as my voice can carry it, because it's a lot of talking. Either way, we'll see you all next time, so take care. Bye-bye.